That's so old school, dude. And that's one of the responses I get when I start to talk about what does it mean to be a man. And we're having this conversation about becoming a man or moving from childhood, boyhood things into manhood. And as I take each step, I realize that I've got some thinking to do or rethinking. It's become clear that when somebody responds, that they respond out of their own stereotypes, like boys like girls, and girls like boys. And another stereotype of what it means to be a man, what they're actually saying, or perhaps what you and I say, we don't put the words, we're not aware of the words that we're loading to that comment, but what does it mean to be a man? Are we thinking that the bigger you are, so your broader shoulders, stronger jaw, means you're more of a man, or you're tall, dark, and handsome? I don't know where you come from. Perhaps in your neighborhood, being a man has to do with your physical size, the roughness of your character, the toughness of your appearance. So, like, I'm not really shaved today, but a thicker beard, a heavier shadow, and a darker skin. Or the more tattoos you have, the more body markings and ear piercings you have, the more stuff on the outside, the more a man you are. Or perhaps you're from another neighborhood where you've been taught to be above those things. So a cleaner language with no expletives, no swear words, and the way that you hold yourself, the way you treat women, the way you put other people first, there's something different about you. And because of that, in your community, that makes you more of a man. What about boys liking girls? What if one day your boy decides, I'm not so comfortable with girls? Is that wrong or right? How does that fit with your stereotype? Or perhaps, dude, your daughter finds interest in other girls like her. And how will you get your mind around that? How will you get your thinking around these ideas, these concepts that don't fit squarely with the stereotype or the norm that you and I were raised in? I say you and I. That doesn't mean that you have the same values and the same frames that I have. But I'm sure there's this feeling about what fixed looks like, what right looks like. When you look at your son, when I look at my boy and I start to consider, what will I say to him? How will I talk about what it means to be a man? And is there these preferences loaded in the statements I make, in the comments I make, in the pictures that I paint to help him see what I think a man looks like? How about language? What words are okay, are acceptable for you at the dinner table? What kind of manner of behavior towards a lady or a woman, towards a sister or a mother, will you condone? Will you accept at your dinner table? Do you even do dinner at a table? What does a man look like to you? I didn't realize just how many of these stereotypes I still carry. And I'm not saying they're right or wrong. What I am saying is, are you making sense of the ideas, the frames that you hold on to? Do I have a conscious, like a real-time understanding? Am I in the foreground aware of what I like and dislike, what I honor and dishonor, what I respect and disrespect? And when I don't, when someone's behavior or one's appearance or one's language is different to mine and I find myself uncomfortable, I find that moment to be unpleasant, am I aware of the judging that's taking place? Do I bring judgment to the conversation? And when I do that, is that what I'm teaching my son? To look at somebody else and judge them for their condition, for their appearance, for their behavior, for their language, without considering what is comfortable to you, what is something that's pleasant to, what makes you feel like a man, what makes you feel that you're comfortable in your earthsuit, and how do you think about those? What do you believe, and why is that? So on this journey of becoming a man, or at least challenging my own understanding of my own manhood so that I can support and guide my son without forcing him to make choices, but empowering him to make those choices, to make those decisions for himself, I realize I have to visit some stereotypes. I have to be not a nice way to say this. I have to soften to the idea that some things might be unpleasant for me. They leave me feeling uncomfortable. That they don't fit well with my earthsuit, with how I feel on the inside. And that doesn't make it wrong. And how will you teach your son to make sense of that moment when he's choosing something that leaves you feeling uncomfortable? Does that make your son wrong?